All right, this looks like a big mess here, but this is the key source, switched wire. This is the battery wire. I got that going over to a power source. And this is to the fan, because that's the power to the fan from the relay. And then the fan is grounded to the chassis. And this represents the computer at the ground of the relay. And when I take this ground and hit it and ground it good, the fan starts to run here. Okay. So that test says that I have hooked this upright, so I can go ahead and run my connections where they're supposed to go. Alright, update. I got the wires done for the relays and kind of halfway FS laid in there. I got the switch panel wired in, and I got the computer out and went through the videos online, and I tested everything, and the fans are working when they're supposed to, and the water pump's working when it's supposed to. They got a really good video, and maybe I'll link it below if anybody cares. But I ran the wires from over here where it comes through the firewall. Some of the these are other inputs and output wires, but these are the ones that I needed, and I'm gonna have to sleeve them and stuff, and they go down here, and then in here I just tucked them in here. That's the relays, and then I got them all grounded right here. Maybe I'll change that later, but then the wires go around that way and go over here, and this is where the main power is coming from for everything. I got so much crap on here that I couldn't fit it on this anymore, so I'm gonna have to get a power box or something and get all these wires, these two, you know, into some kind of a power box. But for now it's functional, so the wiring's functional, and now I can move on to the exhaust probably, because I got the filler rod in, so that'll probably be my next video or update. Alright, the guy came and dropped off the drive shaft, and I put it in, and this ring right here was the wrong bolt pattern, so I had to pull it off of my other 8.8 and put this in so that it would match this bolt pattern, because this rear end evidently didn't have a Fox body drive shaft on it before. But there it is. When we set it up and put it in there, it was about a 1/4 inch gap right here, and truth be told, if you jack the car up and drop the wheels all the way down, it does bind a little bit. I don't know how much, because I mean it drops down until this touches, and then when I raise it up it doesn't touch. So at ride height it shouldn't be having any problems, and I think it has to move quite a bit down before it has problems. So there's a drip there. I'll have to add some more fluid and see if it comes out. I checked it without it running, and it seems like it's a little high, so it might be right where it needs to be when I start it and run it and see. That's the gap. I put the springs up another inch and still it's kind of low. I'm back to welding today. I did a few pieces already, and that's the outside. I'm getting a little better. Got plenty of practice to get it right. And then this here's the inside. I use the solar flux, and it's not nearly as bad as the last one I did. So getting better. I got a few of these pieces made, just 2 pieces welded together, and now I'm gonna put them together and make the elbow. There it is. I'm gonna have to chop it off. It's ugly, but it'll work. Okay, well that's a test fit. I just tacked this piece onto the elbow. The elbow is not a full 90, but this has a cut on it from when I was cutting the pieces, so it is a full 90 now. With it tacked in. So I'll probably have to wind up cutting this back here and then lining it up, marking it, drill a hole in the fender, and then I'll have to add something to go through the hole probably. I don't know, we'll see. There it is. I got the bung and everything welded. I need to cut a hole and move it up here, but as this twists up, it goes that way because the angle of the header, it's not gonna go straight up, it's gonna go kind of at an angle, and I don't know, it might wind up on this parting line if I'm not careful. So I'm not quite sure how to make sure that that is in the right spot. I guess I could cut the tube shorter, but if I do that, it'll be too short to start the engine because I need to have 18 inches, and that's 20 inches. But I figured this stick out here, you know, once it gets up in the fender, won't be such a bad thing. It's just that it's gonna hit the ground a lot sooner at that angle. Once it's turned up, sticking out, it'll be past the tire anyway. So I gotta get that hole cut. I gotta figure that out. Okay, so I took my angle finder and got the angle, which is about 20 degrees on the header. So I took the angle and drew a 20-degree line from the center of the pipe up. And then I tried to center this circle, and I took this and traced it. And that should be pretty close, and that's a 3-inch hole. So if I get the pipe through and it needs to shift one way or the other, I should be able to make it round again and shift it over, because I need probably about a 1/2 inch on each side. It's gonna probably be getting close to these bolt holes though, so I really can't go that direction. But the further I drop it down, the further away from that it gets. So maybe that'll work. I don't know. I got the hole cut, and then I used this die grinder and bored it out and kind of worked. I didn't do very good here, but it winded up working its way over this way further than I thought it would. And it's right up against, almost right up against this bumper. That's sucked in though with the bolts. Good thing is I was able to take the trim piece off, and I can either just set that off to the side and cover that hole if I ever want to, or I can put it back, because I'm not sure it's really going to be noticeable with it off if it gets painted. All right, I finally finished. Boy, I'm beat. All day project. Since 6 o'clock this morning, and it's now, what time is it? It's now 4 o'clock. That's the driver's side. And that's the passenger side. Have to trim it in later. I'll cut those pieces later if I even do it. I guess now I can move on to static timing and get this thing so where I can start it, because I got to do a whole timing process and the computer and stuff. But I don't know if I'm going to do that today.